Hello everyone and welcome to another episode of Route X Lap Attack. I don't remember what I said I was going to test next after running the Challenger. So to be honest, I think it would just be reasonable if we drove another Dodge, this time a classic from 1970, the Super Bee. This was the exact same color I had in Gran Turismo Sport. Unlike this game, however, in Sport, I actually got to choose the color I wanted because there was no used car dealership in Sport. Whereas here, used cars is actually very realistic. You get a car, you don't choose the color it comes in because, you know, it's already been used. So, our Dodge Challenger from the previous episode is actually the fastest of all the Dodges because it's the only one we've tested so far. It got 4th place with a time of 4:34. That's because it had a lot of horsepower. It was well over 1,000, and I think it had the same amount of weight that we do. We have 2,500 here. Horsepower is a lot less. We've got 657, but I think we can at least get a decent time around 15th position, and I already heard the wheels spinning. I don't know what it is about these things, but you have them fully upgraded, and somehow the wheels lose traction really easily, like even if you're going well over 50 miles an hour. Looks like things are going alright so far. We don't need our lights on. Well, it still has them on anyway, but we've crossed the starting line. We're doing 192 so far. Lucky for me, I already bought all the upgrades for this car, so this was a pretty easy decision. Although I still like to get that 1968 Charger they also put in here. I noticed they put in 3 more cars for this month's update. We have 2 Vision cars, one from Genesis, the Hyundai spinoff. I don't remember what the other one was. It could have been... Well, I know there's another car from Suzuki that... I thought it was a Rivian at first because of its square body, but it's actually the 2018 Suzuki Jimny, which is a funny name, Jimny. I thought they stole it from GMC at first because they actually had a truck at one point called the GMC Jimmy. But despite the similarity in the names, it's actually an original name that Suzuki came up with. They just replaced one of the M's with an N, and it's called the Jimny. It looks like a pretty fun vehicle. I wouldn't mind trying that out later. Maybe we can do some off-road racing with that as well. I remember a few months ago it would be interesting to see a few SUVs pop up here for that specific purpose, so to finally have one to race on dirt, I'm excited for that. There's also a snow race I really want to do. A new track was added a while ago in Canada. You can race on snow as opposed to doing the 3 dirt tracks. I honestly thought there would be a few more countries for this. I mean, we only have 2 dirt tracks in this game from the United States. There's another dirt track in Italy, if I remember correctly. There could be 2. And then the only snow track is in Canada. I mean, it's nice that they're acknowledging more locations. I mean, even if they are fake in the North American continent, but I'd like to see a few more European locations as well for this. Maybe in Asia if possible. I mean, Australia is basically all desert, so I'm sure they've got some off-road races as well. Our Coronet's doing a pretty good job. I mean, I know it's called the Super Bee, but there was also a car that Dodge had called the Coronet, which more or less looked exactly like this. I think it was called the Coronet Super Bee. Check the interior here, looking really nice. This view is also pretty good. I like that, but I might stick with this angle for a while. Like every other car we've tested on this track, however, we're not able to use our nitrous. It is still confusing to me that you can use nitrous when you have it installed in races and online lobbies, but for some reason they do not want you using your nitrous when you're doing time trials. I remember when I did this for the very first time in a game called ATV Off-Road Fury, but they called it lap attacks. You would basically go around the track on your ATV, get the fastest lap time you could, and basically you would race against your ghost to see if you could improve anywhere. It was actually one of my favorite things to do. There was also freestyle, which I really love doing, especially on this one map called Yardley. Now, I don't know if they intentionally called it Yardley on purpose because of the fact that you had a small train yard with two freights running on different parts of the map, but I thought it was a really good map nonetheless. There was also another map, speaking of deserts earlier, there was also another map that took place in the desert with an old-fashioned 19th century Wild West town with another loop of track. I mean, you had the old-fashioned coaches, but for some reason a diesel was pulling them instead of the steam locomotives that you normally see. Other than that, everything else looked like it was from the 19th century. The buildings, the passenger cars, everything. Oh, and I guess our ATV too, that's not from the 19th century. That's a nice one. Whoop, don't go sideways on me. I've got racing soft tires. You would think that would help us get better control, but for some reason, this car just likes to lose traction. It would be perfect if you wanted to do a drifting event. You could basically turn the traction control all the way to 0. You don't even need comfort tires. You just let the thing go sideways and do whatever it wants. Now, I guessed that we would get 15th place. I don't even remember which car currently has 15th place, but let's see how we did with our time of 5 minutes and 46 seconds. No, we actually didn't do it. We're close, though. I was only one position short. I guessed we would be 15th, but we actually got 16th. We were 11 seconds slower than the Subaru WRX, the 2014 sedan. The performance points on the Subaru was actually a little bit less, but because it had better control, I think it also had a slightly higher top speed, that was able to be faster than what we currently drove. In the next episode, I'm going to see if I can get the 68 Charger, and if not, then I remember doing this in the original Route X Lap Attack for Gran Turismo Sport, and for shits and giggles, I'm going to drive the Volkswagen bus just for fun. So, we'll see what happens. If I can get the Charger, I'll be using that, and if I can't, then we'll just use the bus for fun. Thanks again for joining me, and hopefully I'll see you next time.